to the Beauty Box Show. I'm your host, Milan J, and again, I have Mr. Hallie Williams, and we are going to do part two. From our first show, we were talking about franchise, but this time we're going to talk about Right Next Door and what Right Next Door is, and that is actually Mr. Hallie's baby,
Yes,
pretty much, right? So
Yes.
he's the founder and CEO of Right Next Door.
Yes.
So I want you to really, because this is such an amazing business franchise, but it's such an amazing business because it's very resourceful, and I think everybody and anybody can benefit from it. So Right Next Door, break it down. What is it?
So our initial passion for Right Next Door is to work with entrepreneurs in all phases of their journey. You know, whether they're in a startup phase, trying to think of an idea or concept, whether they're standing up that business, stabilizing it, and ultimate goal for sustainability. And so part of that reason why I got into it is I always heard people complain about what we don't have in the community. You know, what resources or why certain businesses aren't coming to our community. As I started doing my research, I started to realize is that business want entrepreneurs in the community to pull those businesses here. And so as a franchise broker, I work with both emerging brands and established brands and bring those to communities, identify entrepreneurs in the community. And so part of that journey on preparing entrepreneurs to own, the challenges I kept seeing was access to information of what entrepreneurship is, access to resources, whether it's financial resources or access to people. You know, the decision makers that can help them to own and operate.
So what's entrepreneurship?
So for me, when I say entrepreneurship, I tell anybody it's a passion where if you're monetizing and delivering a product or service. If you're not making money, it's a hobby.
It's a hobby.
So but you can nurture a hobby and then find a way to monetize that hobby. But
absolutely.
If you know, and also there are some entrepreneurial journeys where there is an immediate payoff. You know what I mean? And so if you, especially in technology, people know about technology startups, sometimes there might be a runaway where you might not be profitable. But profitability has to be in the roadmap.
Well, that's, it's just so many things. Now, also too, from my little research from just overviewing some of the details on your website, you have, like, I want to consider it like a melting pot, right? Of different professionals. From now, those professionals we're talking about, they're attorneys, they're accountants. Are they a part of Right Next Door, or what is that?
Yes, like? I'm glad you asked. So at our core, we are an entrepreneur ecosystem builder. And so when we say that ecosystem builder is that when you're thinking about entrepreneurship, we want you to think of Right Next Door, no matter where you are in your journey. If you're thinking of acquiring a business, then that's our core. Owning a franchise, we're there providing you that support. Part of that support is helping you to think about your discovery process. What type of business are you looking for? Are you looking for a service-based business? Looking for a product-based business? What are your professional background, your experiences? And I tell people, don't think of a college. Think about when your first job, 15, 16, because each of those jobs lay crumbs that can now help you to formulate what's the best business opportunity for you moving forward. And so that's what we do at Right Next Door. Help you to first do your discovery, help you identify what business makes sense, helping you to educate you on what wraparound service you'll need to get that business up and running. And the part of, like you just mentioned, is that financing is so key to that decision. So as you deciding on what business that you want to own and operate, we start to prepare you on acquiring financing or deciding on which lever you want to pull. Do you want to do debt financing where you have to borrow funds, or you want to equity finance where you have funds available to acquire that business?
Wow. So it's almost like, not like a mentorship. You're literally taking a person by the hand and then passing them on to the next team player that's going to take them to the next tier. Now, are these, I guess, partnerships with different professionals, like the next person in that profession? Are they a company accompanying your brand, or are they separate?
Yeah. So part of that ecosystem, and I always tell people now, we're really in an ecosystem economy. And it's really is you focus on your lane. I always tell people, focus on your domain, your expertise. What we do is right next door, we cross those different domains. You know? And so at the beginning, if you're interested in the business, I might start off as your broker. Identifying a business. Then as you mature along your journey, if I hand you off, you're ready to now acquire a business or you need funding, now I might become a consultant, helping you navigate that, helping you fill out those applications, helping you to receive funding. And then as you start that journey on, you say, hey, I now work with my franchise attorney, I have my accountant, have my funds, I've signed that franchise agreement. Now I want to stand up that business. Now I move to coach. You know what I mean? So right next door we pivot from broker to consultant to coach along your journey. And then once you're up and running, we want you to be sustainable. So I partner with local economic development corporations. I partner with universities, University of Maryland, Howard, to do education and training and coaching on business lending, on customer discovery, on owning a business, because we want that business to be sustainable.
The fact that you're saying that you're in the, you've partnered up with some of the colleges.
Yes.
And that's really key, because it's a difference. Sometimes you got professors that haven't even stepped out and had the real experience.
Yes.
So by you being able to go to these colleges and being able to speak from experience, it lights up differently.
It does.
Not to knock the college professors, because they're giving you the information. You always get your certification and you get out there and get your experience. But being able to be in position to not only be a founder of a company that can feed your own community with the information from experience is a blessing, especially for our youth coming up. It gives them a great platform. Now, with you doing those type of resources, and like I said, going from the brokerage, now kind of makes sense to me, like how it plans out, and then you become the consultant, which you direct them. And that's either being a regular traditional entrepreneur or franchise, or you cater to both?
It cater to both. Because one thing I know is, especially when it comes to businesses, for it to be sustainable, it's usually financing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so what I educate folks on is that you have to leverage you have to pull different levers.
Okay.
Because types of, let's just talk about debt financing. You either have the commercial banks, the traditional Bank of Americas, the Chase Wells, or you have SBA financing, 7A with your acquire loan, or 504 or others, or you have financial technology firms, alternative financing. And so those firms are entrepreneurs who are in investing money. And so with those, when it comes to your small businesses, you have to pull on what lever you have. So if you have a business you have collateral, you leverage that for your equipment leasing.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you have a business that has cash flow, you leverage that, you pledge that. If you have a business where you have strong credit, business credit or personal credit, you leverage that. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of hard with the commercial banks, they want you to have all three.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's kind of hard, especially if you've been an entrepreneur for any period of time, it's kind of hard to have collateral, cash flow, and credit. So then you have to pull on those other C's, which is your character, your capacity, things that you've done in your past, your capabilities, building that resume. And that's why I share with people. Think of every business that you've run, if you started, those are crumbs. And so when you put that loan package together, it's not like just filling out the application. You have to put the package together.
Right.
Your resume, your certifications, your success in the community.
Yeah, I remember when we did our application for SBA, and I was like, what?
Paperwork.
The paperwork, just the sheet alone of the itemized items, I passed it over. I said, Christine, what is this? What are they asking me? Why do they need this?
Why do they?
It's like, that's ridiculous. But then it's just like they want it, they need it. And so like you said, you got to build a character and all of this stuff, because let me fill a typical form and then tell me my credit meet it. You want a bank statement, I'll send it to you. Simple. And then again, you have resources to those companies that are very simple. I guess they call it the micro loans.
Because different lenders, and I'm glad you brought that up, because filling out a loan for a consumer loan is definitely different than a commercial loan. And so you have to really think different. There are different bureaus, they're looking at different data, so you have to be aware of that. And like you just said, putting together a package. You know what I mean? So you're not just filling out the application, you put together your package, because when it comes to their underwriting, first before you even get to underwriting, a lot of people never make it because of the analysis.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which means whatever your business is named in Annapolis, if you're here in Maryland, you need to put that on all the applications, because they're reconciling it for fraud and for other things.
Yeah.
So, and sharing out all your collateral. If it's on any insurance document as an asset, you want to list that as collateral, because you want to build your portfolio. And so those are the things that we educate people on, and just the little nuances that get you funding versus not.
Okay, another thing that I want to ask you, like in your melting pot of professions, part of branding,
Yes.
right? Marketing, and if somebody has an idea, and let's say they're not going franchise and they're traditional, but they have an idea, of course they can't go in and get traditional funding because they don't have maybe the history. And then two, do you have resources or a part down, do you play as the coaching part? No, not the coaching. Let me get it. Consulting.
Yes.
Do you play as the consulting part on the assisting with them on the marketing side, or how?
That's a good question. So I'll take a step back and I'll come forward with that. So my background is engineering. So part of engineering, you learn about coming up with discovery, idea, designing, develop, and then deliver it to market. And so a lot of times when I share with folks about franchising, the traditional entrepreneurs don't view that as entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Because for them, traditional entrepreneurs, if you getting out the mud, you creating it from scratch and bringing it to market. That's what entrepreneurship is. But as I shared with you earlier, entrepreneurship is taking any product or service, monetizing it, and delivering it as an offering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when people come up with ideas that they want to do a startup, you have to really think about, as you are building out that product or service, if you can't self-fund, you have to now start thinking about investors.
Right.
And so based on that idea, that industry or domain that you're interested in, you have to find investors who are willing to support those ideas. Because investors really want to see what's your vision, your why. Why do you think that idea is marketable? You know what I mean? And test that idea and market, because you can write and stay in your home.
I hear that.
You got to go out to market to test that idea out. You know, and incubate it. You know what I mean? Start out small, find out who wants your product or service offering. See if you can market to them, see if they would have purchased, they're willing to pay money for it, or pay money for things like your offering. And then you grow and scale.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but just the same energy you use to build that idea market, you look for investors too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're going to be right back.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Welcome back to the Beauty Box Show. I'm your host, Milan J, and I have Hallie Williams. We've been together all this time. I'm like stuck. And he is the founder and CEO of Right Next Door. And we were elaborating on what Right Next Door offers and stages and process, and it's good for entrepreneurs as well as entrepreneurs that's seeking to do franchise and traditional businesses. Yeah. Now, I know when we left off, we were just talking about marketing and stages, and you were explaining that phase one is, contacting you with the idea, and then at that point, you're the brokerage, right?
Yep.
And then you turn into consultant in phase two, which is you've walk them through to the next chapter when you're ready to pass on the baton to the next layer, right?
Yes,
and then they go after that. You do after consulting, it's the coach.
Yes.
So and we said it's just as simple as saying, hey, I'm gonna walk you through, take you by your hand, and I think it's a very it's a very supportive system.
Yes.
And so that way is if you don't know it. You got somebody who's done the work or can get the answers for you in that lane.
Yes.
So that's I mean, if I probably had this or had the resources to seek this, I probably would have been quadrillionaire by now. I'm gonna
yeah.
make up some numbers.
No,
I'm gonna be that far. I'm gonna be so
you hit it at the
wealthy.
core. Because that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this service to our community. My passion is personal. I want to create more middle class millionaires.
Yes.
It's not gray. I'm clear. Anyone asks me, and I'll tell you, I've always been a person of servitude. That's just by nature who I am. And so I see these resources in other places. I want to bring them here, and because I know that we could leverage those resources to grow and expand.
Yeah, because right now I'm a thousandaire.
There you go. Let's get you.
And that depends on the time of the month.
There you go.
The beginning of the month, I'm a honeydaire.
There you go. There you go.
But you know me, but okay. So I know there's, like I said, there's so many different things now. Your audience.
Yes.
Where, like, if I'm in Texas,
Yeah.
can I use Right Next Door?
Yeah, and that was one of the plans that we had with the business. We not only have a local, regional, we have a national and a global presence.
Oh,
Because
nice.
it's a two-way. You think about here in the Prince George's, Maryland area, we have over 100 plus different countries represented, you know what I mean? And so it's two ways. We want to only have businesses here, but we also have franchisors who want to take business abroad. You know what I mean? And
Got
so
you.
our national reach is that we work with clients all over the country. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And so because they have different needs, we have access to over 500 different franchise brands, emerging and established brands who want to now move across. You have
Right.
regional brands who want to become national. You want national brands who want more penetration in the suburbs.
Right, because I was just talking to my daughter today when we were driving back. I said, you know, we were talking business, and I was like, yeah, I want to go ahead and lean in the direction, because I narrowed it down. I was like, I want
Yes.
to open up in Texas and Florida, because it was
Yes.
like 4 other locations that I was thinking, and then my spirit just led me to Texas and Florida. But now knowing that,
Yes.
again, I'm so used to being independent that I was like, okay, I got to go through this, I got to experience this, and then go out there and market and research myself.
Yeah.
But then it's like Right Next Door can do that for me.
Yes, and leverage your partners. Like as you said, entrepreneur ecosystem. You have economic development corporations in each one of those locations. You have small business in the SBA, Small Business
Yes.
Administration. They have the Small Business Development Center. It has VA business centers. They
Right.
have women business centers and communities all around the country. So you want to leverage those resources, you know, because data helps to drive your decisioning. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Of what is the right location in Texas.
Okay, so you once you become a coach,
Yeah.
how does the relationship end?
Yeah. So there is. Then that's the beauty of Right Next Door. We are literally right next door along your entrepreneurial journey. Because
Really?
the journey is start up your business, you stand it up, you stabilize it, you sustain it, then you transition. How do you transition? You either transition it to another family member or your children, or you transition it, you expand it to another market, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
or if you do decide to retire, now what do we do next? What's that next phase look like? And so we want to be there to provide you those wraparound services.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
The other thing too, we were talking about the new things that how we're funding our family
Yes.
in business. And you
Yeah.
mentioned something in reference to giving money to the children
Yes.
and starting the businesses up that way.
Yeah.
So let's say something like that, right? Let's say my 18-year-old son who might be, I don't know, thinking about becoming a barber.
Yeah.
But he's just good enough just to cut maybe $20 styles, right?
Yep.
But he really is determined to open up his own business. But of course, he doesn't have any real solid ground and enough clientele to really go out there.
Yes. Yeah.
Can he give you a call and start? Is
Yeah.
that too soon?
And I'll share with people, I'll make this clear. As soon as you think about an idea, give us a call. Let us work with you. Here's why. I'll give you an example, two examples. I have one example of a lady I met at an expo, business expo, and she was sharing with me that her son had a lawn service and that he wanted to grow and scale his lawn service. So we talked, and she was saying that he was thinking about going to horticulture school to learn. And so he did go there, and so she and I was talking about once he graduates, why not purchase a lawn doctor, or another lawn service business. She can help as management to help him nurture and grow that business, because as you just said with your
simple.
son,
Yeah, that's
we
simple.
want you to think about designing a business, being an owner, not the most operator. You know what I mean? And so because when you think of as owner, we want you to scale and grow multiple units of the business. Hire, train, and grow your talent.
Right.
While you focus on
you don't gotta be the genius behind it.
We don't want you. Yeah. If you purchase one of our Mr. Appliance.
You hear this, guys?
We
This
don't want
would
you in
have
the trenches.
saved me. I've been in the game 36 years. That sentence right there.
Yes.
Just made me realize how tired I made myself.
Yes.
I mean, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real simple and profound for someone who's in business doing it that way.
Yes.
Like I said, if I had this type of, and see, I used to do hair.
Yes.
Well, not that I'm not doing it, but when doing hair, I used to just talk about the moment.
Yes.
And a lot of times I never knew what my clients did.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you're in the
my own
trenches.
community, we didn't talk shop.
Yes.
We talked trash.
There you go.
Whatever trash was happening, it was
Yeah.
hot.
Yes.
And we talked because it was your information came about through my best friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. That networking.
Yeah, that
Yes.
networking,
Yes.
but just
Strategic
being,
networking.
yeah, but the
Yes.
thing about it is she was seeking something.
Yes.
I knew what I needed, but I didn't know how to go about asking. Because
Yeah.
you know how many of us don't know
Yes.
when to ask the questions.
Yeah.
So I say all of that to say it's just like that time, and you said something that I was a kid who I lost my mom when I was 16, and I've been on my own since
Yeah.
then. And I had my first salon when I was 19, and I had 3 salons by the time I was 23 years old.
Yes.
So I had money.
Yes.
But I didn't have the knowledge and the wisdom. I just knew how to open up a salon,
Yeah.
decorate it, put people in there, and it was like, now what?
Now, there you go.
Okay, I don't know what to do, but I want to decorate another salon.
Yeah.
Had I had somebody like you,
Yes.
and with the type of money that I had, but I didn't have the knowledge, I would have had to set up.
Yeah. Because that's a system. You went from ideation
Yes.
to design to develop to implementation, and you went to market. Like that's your system. You could have packaged that and sold that to other entrepreneurs.
Do you know how much, like I said, a
It's not too
quadrillion
late.
billionaire.
It's not too late.
No, it ain't. It's not too late. As long as I got a breath and I can get up tomorrow and breathe again, yes, that's an opportunity. But
Yeah.
God doggone it, I wish I had called you.
I
At
know.
51 years old
Yeah.
and at the age of 19, you know how much time that
Yeah,
was?
yeah.
It's just all,
I know.
But overall, so that's great just to know that it's just how the picture looks. But
Yes.
so if you guys are thinking about getting into entrepreneurship, whether you plan on becoming a franchisor, franchisee or franchisor,
Yeah, either
or
way.
just a regular entrepreneur in
Yes.
general,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That it doesn't have to be you already have it in place.
Yes.
Right?
No, not at all. Not at all. And you just touched on another thing, which is kind of like a paradigm shift we need. Because we're good at networking. But we need to take that next step is being a connector. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if there's gaps that you need, if I know someone that can fill that gap or void, you know what I mean? Present it.
And the thing about it is too, in our community, and it has just been one of the major downfalls, we hold on to good information until we get up.
Yeah.
You know, and then when we get up, it's like, okay, I can share this
Yeah,
with
it's
you
too
now.
late. It's too late.
Yeah. So at this point, it's just like there's so much money out there
Yep. For everybody.
for everybody.
Yeah. And then look, the reality is, I don't want the money. Give me the recipe.
Yes. Okay.
I'll find a way to get the ingredients. Just share the recipe.
Right,
I'll take it from there.
And that's the key thing that but you are going against the grain with
Yeah.
that. Like you're like, hey, come to me.
Yes. Yeah.
I got the recipe.
Yes.
And I'm also going to help you bake it.
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
And the key is though, as
I
you
like
shared,
that. Y'all got a recipe. I'm gonna help you bake it. I might get a T-shirt.
Let's talk. You got to be willing to put in the work. I mean,
Right.
that's
Absolutely.
now you got to put in that sweat equity. You know what I mean? Because even if I give you a blueprint of success, somebody still have to execute on that.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And so, and knowing who you can lever, who's in your network, who's in your system, who complements you. Because a lot of times, even we talk about people partnering with others. If I'm an engineer, I don't need to hire another engineer. I need to hire a
Absolutely.
marketing person, someone do sales. So as I build, they can promote.
Promote.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
And simple said, but when you're not networking with others, you're limiting your knowledge skills because you're trying to do everything and then tap on areas that's not your specialty.
Yes.
And you're limiting yourself, you know.
Yes.
I'm saying this to me too,
Yeah.
you know, over the years. I just started.
Yeah.
You know, but over I know we're like closing out on our show. And this is so good. I'm so glad we touched base on, you know, right next door. And this is just pretty much, I normally do like the tip of the day, but we're kind of like choking out, right? Do you, unless you got.
I'll share with people. And I always share with people.
It's your people's right here.
There you go. I'll say, if you think about a business idea, think before you plan. Think before you plan before you act before you complain. You know, and I share with people that because when you take the limitations of having to decide on how you're going to do, you just let yourself think freely. You never know what avenues are available to you. And then you start to share out what your vision is. But be protective, because you have to share it with other dreamers. You know, and you'll come up with the people that help you figure out your what and your how if you understand your why.
Absolutely. And it sounds so simple, but when you try not to be at the finish line, that's the key thing. When we, you know, in business, for me, I'm thinking big at the end, but I'm missing the small tasks, which is important. You know, so I'm building this rocky foundation, and then I have to reset. So the beauty about it is, and I guess quote of the day is just be patient, be due diligent, and be willing to sacrifice, and just prepare yourself for some hard times. Then that way, when the good time comes, you can enjoy it. I really thank you all for being here, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And we definitely gonna have to do this again.
Okay.
But before, we got a couple seconds. If you can just give me your platforms.
Okay. Yep. So please follow us. Our website is rightnextdoor.biz, B-I-Z. We're on all the digital channels where we share out different franchise brands and educate different franchise or business terms. So that's at Right Next Door, and it's on Facebook, on Instagram, and on LinkedIn. So definitely reach out to us if you have any events or expos or, you know, different conferences you think that we could add value or contribute to. Definitely don't hesitate to reach out.
Right. And if you need anything and want to think about a business, Mr. Hallie's your guy. All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful night, day, morning, whatever time it is.
There you go.